All right, so I did some math. I bet you're not very shocked if you know me very well. Okay, so these are all hypothetical numbers. The reason I say this, and it can get annoying, and it is annoying to me, but 15 years from now or 10 years from now, I don't want anybody saying, but Brandon told me the real estate market appreciates at 4%, and that's in stone. And Brandon says that the appreciation rate of the stock market is 8%. And it's not. It's not in stone. We have no idea what's going to happen in the future. We can only predict the future as best as we can with the past knowledge that we have. Like, say, for instance, the S&P 500 for the past 50 years or so is approximately 8% average annual, average annual compounding interest. And the appreciation rate for a housing market is different in all the different markets. So when I get these numbers, basically these are all in theory, but at the same time, they're the most accurate that I could possibly find. So that's the disclaimer. Disclaimers suck, and they're not fun to talk about. And I know that probably 99% of people take things and they're reasonable, but that 1% possibly that's like, oh, he said this, and 15 years from now they're like, yeah, but this didn't appreciate at that rate. So anyways, just wanted to get that out of the way. So this is the hypothetical example that I came up with. Say your loan amount is $200,000, but the house is worth, say, $210,000. You were able to put down 10%. Or, sorry, you were able to put down $10,000. And then you have your closing costs and everything. So, loan amount, $200,000. Loan term, 15 years. Interest rate, 6.5%. That's what I got from an internet search. I've got it actually up here. Weekly national mortgage rate trends. And the timestamp basically is today. And today is November 13th. I believe it's the 13th. Okay, so 30-year fixed, 7.24%. 15 years fixed, 6.46%. I believe this is known as the prime rate. And then you have the Fed rate, the federal interest rate. And those things are all mutually exclusive. Anyways, in this video, I'm going to be talking about the 30-year fixed and the 15-year fixed. And I'm going to be using just these numbers. Of course, they could change. You'd want to talk to a lender and hope for the best. Or that would be awesome if you could put down cash for a place. But anyways, so that's where I got those numbers, or the numbers that I'm going to plug into calculator.net. Okay, so here we go. Loan amount, $200,000. Loan term, 15 years. Interest rate, 6.5%. Monthly pay, this is without taxes and insurance and so on and so forth. That's why I pulled up realtor.com. So I can show realtor.com's projections. Now you can use whatever, realtor.com, Zillow, Trulia, whatever there is out there if you want. Be my guest. I just personally like realtor.com. I think it's pretty simple, easy to use. So I find a lot of value in it. Anyways, here we go. So, loan amount, $200,000. What are you paying after 15 years or so in interest? Let's see here. 36% interest, $113,000. And Again, these are all hypothetical numbers. These will probably change, but this is my best way of showing how you can do these numbers yourself. You basically have to pull up a lot of information and a few different websites. It takes a little bit of patience, but if you value your time, then this is probably a skill that's worth it to learn. Anyways, this is what you're paying in principal, and this is what you're hypothetically paying in interest here in this particular example. Versus the 30-year. Pay attention to this interest and principal. We'll go to the 30-year. Okay? Monthly pay, you pay less. So that's where it's like, oh wow, I'm paying less. More cash flow. Awesome. But there is a little bit of tug of war going on here. This is the monthly pay, so you're paying more per month. But what are you paying in interest? You're paying basically $2,000 in principal that first year and $15,000 in interest in this example. And that is the number that I found, remember, from the internet, 30 years. So, 59% interest. So you're paying $293,000 potentially in interest. So those are the numbers. Of course, you have appreciation possibly, and you can renovate. Maybe you buy a house in an area that's expanding. That would be awesome. But why not try to nail all of the things that could potentially make the home ownership process or the home ownership better? And I guess I'm speaking just on finances. Disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. But I am here to help, and I am being sincere with everything that I say, and I hope that you don't find this as absolute bullshit. And I have done quite a bit of research in this realm. Maybe this amortization schedule thing. Maybe you want to ask your lender or whoever, your lender probably, what's my personal amortization schedule, and take a look at it if you care. Right? If you don't, then that's up to you. Okay, so in this example, here is the 30-year fixed at 7.3%. Home price, $209,000, so basically $210,000 more or less. Monthly payment, $1,800 with the taxes and insurance and the mortgage fee. And I believe this would fall off if you were able to get a 20% down payment. But that's one particular type of loan. You'd want to talk to a loan officer to evaluate that the right way. But this is what Realtor.com gives as far as their numbers. And again, you can always down the road refinance. The interest rates will, they're always changing. And hopefully we're in a downward projection. But this is the 30-year basically. So monthly payment, $1,800. And let's go to the 15-year. So you're paying about $400 more or so in this Realtor.com example, where I plugged in some numbers, basically a $10,000 down payment. I plugged that in by hand or my fingers. And I typed it in. In other words, Gosh. I apologize. Sometimes my language is just awful. I was not an English major. I was always doing math like this, so I apologize whenever I say something that is just like, what? There's a word for that. Anyways, estimated closing cost, 4%. So, monthly payment, $2,229 in this example. Principal and interest, is that accurate? Let's see. $1,741. Let's see what calculator.com came up with for that 15-year example. That's the 30-year. 1,742. So that's got to be pretty accurate. Just cross-referencing two different things here. Okay, so, all right, let's go to this. And what did I do here? I used the compounding interest formula that I have memorized in here. It didn't take too much time. It was really, probably would take you an hour or less to memorize, especially if you're simplifying it to compound just one time per period. And that makes more sense, I guess, if you kind of started going into the compounding interest formula. Anyways, $210,000, so the home value, times 1.04, 4%. That's what I used for the average annual compounding interest. Again, this could potentially change. And 15 years of that. So potentially the house could be worth, and again, different markets are different and they appreciate at different rates. This is on a Google search. I searched what is the average appreciation rate of real estate, and I got something like 3.9, 4.4, blah, blah, blah. So I plugged in 4%. So anyways, in this hypothetical example, after 15 years, that home that you purchased for $210,000 in theory could be worth about $380,000. Let's go to the 30-year example. That $210,000 house appreciating at that hypothetical rate. For 30 years, the house, in theory, could be worth $681,000. Then you can use the rule of 72 if you want to make it much easier, but that's less accurate, and you can't do anything but think about like how long it takes for an asset to double. But anyways, I digress. So after 30 years, could be worth 681. All right. Now, for the S&P 500, say you were to put $18,000 in, and after 15 years of your money being in the S&P 500, if in the future the S&P 500 grew at 8% on average, money could be worth, and you contributed $2,229. Does that look familiar? That number is basically the mortgage payment. And this would change once PMI came off. I hope you're tracking. But anyways, this is all in theory. Anyways, this is saying your starting amount, $18,000, 15 years, return rate 8%. So this was the down payment. This was 15 years basically. Return rate 8%, compounding annually. Additional contribution. This is the mortgage, for that 15-year example, back here, that was the 30-year, sorry. There it is, see, 2,229, so I plug that in. Ending balance, hypothetically, 809,000. Why is this comparison apples to oranges? Because having a roof over your head is something that you basically need. So it's apples to oranges, and it's very hard to make a comparison between these two assets, or between these two, between these two investments. So that is definitely not nothing. And that additional contribution, I mean, unless you're living at your parents' house, or you got extremely lucky and you have zero mortgage, or you earned it and say you crushed it out of the park, and you're a professional baseball player or something, and you got that huge signing bonus and you're able to pay house cash, and you didn't have any mortgage, and something like this, instead of paying for a mortgage, you can do something like put it into stocks or whatever. And this is just an example. This could all change. Who knows? Maybe the performance of the S&P 500 for the next 30 years sucks. But I have to bet that that's not going to happen. But, okay. So here is for the 30 years. So say instead of putting $18,000 down for closing costs and down payment, you put it into the S&P 500 or a stock that had an average appreciation or an average compounding interest of 8% over the course of 30 years, and your additional contributions per month was $18.58. Where did I get that? That is from this number right here, monthly payment. And of course, as soon as you got to a certain amount, maybe with a conventional loan, maybe that would fall off. But again, that's between you and a lender. Anyways, let's go back here. So, ending balance. That's what you could potentially have, right? And that is a big sacrifice, because you're sacrificing $18,000 and you're sacrificing $1,858 per month in theory, and you're not getting a roof over your head. So, these were just some comparison numbers that I wanted to talk about investing. This stuff is super fascinating to me. As you can see, I love running numbers on this. I hope you have a great week, and I hope this helps at least you conceptualize, because that is my intention, to help you to help you basically understand these numbers maybe a little bit more than you already did. Maybe you know way more than me and you think this video is an absolute joke, and I apologize if I wasted your time, or if you got all the way to this point of the video and you're like, I already knew all this stuff. I'm sorry. But anyways, hope this helps, and yeah, hope you have a great week. And again, just wanted to tell you my intention was to give some ideas, I guess. And these are all numbers in theory, all hypothetical. All right. Take care.